Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life and Layouts, and I am here on the Crafty Maven Getaway for MultiPhoto Love. I showed you the inspiration board, and actually what I'm using from that is just the blue. As you can see, I used a basil blue background, and I am going to get 18 photos on this layout. So this is definitely a MultiPhoto Love layout. I use the Project Life app to cut down my photos to 3x4. The Project Life app is super simple to use. I use it on my phone, and I make the edits when I am sitting waiting for my kids' doctor visits or sitting in the carpool lane. And then I send them off to get printed at my local printer. Usually I use Amazon because I am a Prime member, but you can send it off to Walgreens or any of your other photo editing software, Snapfish, anywhere that you use. And it's a very simple drop-in photo editing processing. So super simple. This layout is going to use some of the photos from Thanksgiving last year. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I purposely chose this day because I wanted to make sure that I used Thanksgiving photos. And I know that we always have tons and tons of photos on these holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas and things like that. So that's where I wanted to focus. For Thanksgiving last year, we went to Virginia, and we were able to rent a local house or cabin. It was kind of like Airbnb. It was gorgeous, folks. I am a Florida girl, and I loved seeing the leaves change color and being on the lake. It was just a fabulous time. So what I am going to do is I cut out these strips, and I didn't really measure them. I liked those owls, so I just cut them out so that it was a true owl across the border. So I think it ended up being just over 1 inch. And then I cut out those leaves, and I think I used those at 1/4 of an inch, but I'm going to turn that over and use the yellow on the back of that because the leaves just blended in too much. So once I put my owls down, then I put down a majority of my 3x4 photos taken. Now these were mainly taken with my cell phone. So they're selfie photos of me and my boyfriend, of the kids playing on this little play set that was at the house there. And then I had the 4x3 photos on top of that. So I was able to get a total of 8 3x4 photos across and 6 4x3 photos across. And I do end up changing that a little bit. I actually take out the 2 center photos to add journaling and some other things to it. But you will see how I get to add all these little photos that are there up the top and the ones that I'm trimming out now. I first thought that I was going to be able to trim them down to a 3x3 and then add them to the left, but I didn't like the way that looked. So I'm going to go on to plan B. I am using this Rusty Hinge Distress Ink from Tim Holtz. And I wanted to show you the ink pad as well, because I feel like the top of that ink wasn't the same color as the ink pad. So very pretty color. I showed you that I'm going to ink all of the edges, but I do that off camera because inking edges is like watching paint dry, right? So I use my 12-inch T-square ruler to start the left side of the paper. And if you are a double page layout person, you need this 18-inch T-square ruler. Very cheaply. I got it at Amazon. I think you can also get it at Michael's. And so what it helps me do is if I'm laying something out and I want it to span across the 2-page layout, I use my 12-inch to make sure that it's straight on one side of the layout. And then this T-square ruler helps me get it across to the second side of the layout like I do here. And then I go back to my 12-inch T-square ruler because now that I have everything lined up. So when I did trim my photos, I do trim them a little less than 3x4 because I do like to have a little tiny border in between each of the photos so that it's not just solid photo all the way across, especially when you're spanning across the layout. You definitely want to have just a little bit of break in between those photos. I used the border strip of this paper pack to cut out the falling in love with you, and then also give thanks with a full heart and a sweet smile. So this is how I'm going to get the additional photos in there. This is a 6x12 pocket page. You can purchase these at Hobby Lobby, and they come in two different styles. This style has two 4x6, one on the top and one on the bottom, and then two 3x4s in the center. They also have three 4x6s if you don't have the 3x4 photos. So this allows me to put in some of these cut aparts that are from the page as well, and a little bit more embellishment than I was able to get on my page. I wasn't able to get a whole lot of embellishment because my page is so focused on photos, but I was still able to get some embellishment, and it just adds a little bit to it. It fits right into the page protectors in your album, and it actually adds a lot of interest and depth to it because you have that different size between the 12x12 and the 12x6. So now I'm just working through. I have these two photos that I had cut down before that I was going to use the 3x3, which is the one with my son in the leaves, and the other one with him climbing. And then I have the two photos that were 4x3, and of course they're not going to fit in that layout by themselves, so I needed some type of background with them. So I cut out the 4x6 and adhered that to the paper. So I'm just playing around with the different photos and trying to see which one fits best on there. And I'm sorry, I'm a little off camera at the bottom there, but what I put was a picture of just a scenery picture. And on that like yellow gingham. And then on the leaf paper, I'll come back on camera now. On the leaf paper, I loved having the photo of my son on there, but it kind of seemed like it was getting lost. So I pulled out my 6x6 paper pad stash. So I don't have a huge paper pad stash in the 6x6, and I tend to use it more for scraps than anything else. I try to pull them out and have layouts on them, but they tend to be used for my scraps. So I found this yellow that worked well with the colors in this page kit, and it fit perfectly in with the leaves. It just gave it just enough offset. So this piece here with all of the stripes on it is actually the back of the information pack. They tend to put all those 4x6 cards on that. So on the other side it says give thanks, and I'm trying to use up that as much as possible and not waste the paper. So I was looking through my paper and I tried to use that yellow piece, but I didn't like the way it worked. So I went back to the inspiration board that you saw at the beginning, and I saw that black and white text I think it's in the upper left-hand corner. So that's when I pulled this out. This is, it actually just has a row of numbers on it. It's very hard to see. They're really small, but you could definitely see them in the close-ups. And I thought that was perfect. And I trimmed it down just enough so that there's still that border. So I'm able to pull in all the colors from the page kit and then also have those numbers on there. So now that I have what I feel like the bones of my layout complete, that's when I start just figuring out what works for me. This is a zero center ruler, and it has a notch in it and then lines above and below it so that it makes it easy for you to draw your journaling lines. So that's what I did on the left side of the paper. I will tell you guys, I have a confession to make. I am not a stamper. I have had so many people try to help me figure out how to use stamps. I have a stamping platform that you can see there. I think that one's actually from We Are Memory Makers we are memory keepers. I've had a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator stand over me and help me stamp. And she has the one that has finally admitted to me that I am stamping deficient. I just can't do it. No matter what I do, it doesn't turn out right. So I tried to use stamps because I know that's what we're working on this month. It just didn't work for me. So I ended up covering it up with that piece of paper with the bear and the fall print on it. So as you'll see, I pull back from the page protector to my 2-page layout. I work with whatever feels right to me. So I will pull it out ton of times, work on it, put it back in, pull it out again, go back to the 2-page layout. I feel like just whatever works for you should work for you. So, and that's what is working for me right now. So I added this big tree because I felt like that was a huge aspect of being up in Virginia and seeing all of the leaves change color. It was just such a beautiful sight. Like I said, I'm a Florida girl, true and true, grew up, born and raised in Florida. We do not have leaves that change color. And when they do, they go from green to brown and they fall on the ground and we don't ever see anything. But these trees were truly red and yellow and orange and just so gorgeous. So I felt like I needed that tree to truly represent the fall, the changing of the leaf colors. So what I end up doing now is adding these 2 stickers to pull the layout together. So one is a branch and it just has some leaves on it, and the other is a banner, both from the sticker sheets. And then in my journaling here, I'm just really discussing everything that went on during this trip. It was a trip, I believe we got there like on Tuesday and we stayed through the weekend on Sunday. And so these are just random photos of us, not just necessarily on Thanksgiving Day, but throughout the week. And we have a fabulous co-parenting relationship with the children's mother. So it is, these boys, my boyfriend is their father. And so this trip was the 2 of us, the mother and her boyfriend, the 2 boys, obviously, and the grandparents were up in Virginia, and we all went together and we had a great time up there. And that's what I wrote on this little journaling next to the boys with dad on the swing, was just that I'm so proud that we can be adults about everything and truly get along for the kids, because that is really what's most important. So now I'm using my Heidi Swap Color Shine in gold to add some splatters to the layout. And I feel like, I don't know what was up with this, but the color shine was really, it wasn't thick like it normally is. It was very watery. So there's a couple of times where there were like big globs of it, like you could see right there on the lower left-hand side. And I tried to use a piece of tissue to get some of it up, but I don't know. But once it dried, it looked fine. So I don't know what was up with the shine, because that's definitely not happened before for me. So now I'm just adding it to all of the different pieces, and then I pull back my layout. And I am going to add a few different embellishments to it. But before I do that, I realized that I needed to erase my pencil lines. So I have just a regular eraser, and I erase it. And I always, when I know that I'm going to journal, I make sure that I don't put adhesive on the edge of the photos until afterwards. So that way I make sure that I get all of the lines erased without rubbing it over my photo. So I'm just adding these 2 word stickers, and then I'm going to add this heart up on Fun Foam to add a little bit of dimension, that blue heart. And that blue heart also brings in that inspiration piece as well. Now that I've talked about this layout, I feel like I've talked to you guys. I wanted to thank Hannah. Thank you so much for letting me join this design team. This is my first video for the design team, and I'm so happy to be joining all of these fabulous women. There's just so much inspiration in this YouTube channel, and I'm so excited to be a part of that inspiration. I will be focusing on 2-page layouts because that's all I do. And if you want to check out my channel, which I will post below, that's all I post on my channel. I will also be focusing on multi-photo layouts because I do like to have lots of photos. Photos are the reason I scrapbook. And I know that there are lots of ladies out there who love using the product and love showcasing the product, and I love those layouts, but those layouts don't work for me. And so I want lots and lots of photos on my layouts. So that's what I will try to be focusing on for you. So, and that's what's so great about the Crafty Maven Getaway is that you will see inspiration with lots of photos. You will see inspiration with 1 or 2 photos, and you'll get everything that you need from this channel. So stay tuned for additional layouts because I know that these ladies are going to do such an amazing job throughout the next 6 months while we're here, and then some. So here are all the close-ups for this layout. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button so you can see lots and lots of inspiration from so many different ladies. I want to give a great happy Thanksgiving to everyone in the States. I hope that you are enjoying your day and eating lots of yummy, yummy food because that's what I am going to be doing as well. All right, everyone, have a great day.